Hunt with Jim Shockey for giant Canadian whitetails in the undisputed hotspot for big bucks, Saskatchewan, home of the largest white-tailed deer in the world. Travel to Vancouver Island, British Columbia to hunt with Jim Shockey at Pacific Rim Guide Outfitters for the largest black bears on the planet. All spot and stalk, in your face black bear hunting action. If you dream of taking a trophy black bear, Pacific Rim Outfitters can help you make that dream a reality. Hunt with Jim Shockey in the Yukon, his newest addition to his outfitting territories, for record-setting Alaskan Yukon moose, grizzly bear, caribou, and Dall sheep. To book a hunt with Jim Shockey, call 1-888-826-1011 or go to www.jimshockey.com. Don't miss the hunt of a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Jim Shockey, and welcome to this co-production between myself and Stony Wolf Productions. You know, I'm a believer in bigger is better. That's why I like moose hunting so much. And I think as you watch the moose hunts you're about to see, some of the most incredible moose hunts ever captured on camera, you too will become a believer in bigger is better.
If he steps, you can take him. But not yet.
All right.
Okay, anytime.
I'm often asked, what's my favorite North American big game animal to hunt? And I can't answer that. There isn't a single one, but one of the animals that's right near the top for sure is moose. They're so big, and their antlers are so big, and where they live is such spectacular country. And that's where you're going right now, up to the Yukon for an archery moose hunt during the rut. Just hang on to your seats, it's quite a hunt. I've got 3 areas up on the Yukon, approximately 25,000 square miles. Imagine how big that is. And it's filled full of giant mountain caribou and Dall sheep, some of the highest densities in the world of Dall sheep, huge Alaskan Yukon moose, and of course, grizzly bears. The trip to get into these areas always has to be with a float plane or a wheel plane, depending on whether we've got a strip or a lake or river to land in. And that alone is worth the price of admission. The hunter for this particular moose hunt was a fellow by the name of Jim Bissenden. You'll hear a lot more about him in the future. Jim's my right-hand man. He handles everything that I can't get around to. He's an archery hunter, he uses a Hoyt bow, and is one of the top 3D archers in Canada. This was also his first moose hunt, so everything was brand new to him. I mean, the float planes coming in, the wilderness. It was going to be a once-in-a-lifetime hunt for him. It was also taking place during the moose rut. This is about the second half of September, anywhere from September on actually. The way we hunt them is to call. You slap water with your feet, you rake willows with an old dry shoulder blade of a moose, and wait for a moose to respond. If it doesn't, then you move on. On this hunt, we were hunting by boat on a river, a jet boat. So we'd cruise further up the river, set up again on a likely looking oxbow or gravel bar and try calling again. It's a fun way to hunt, and you do see a lot of moose that way, especially during the rut. Earlier in the year they'll run, but then at that time of year they will come in. We'd seen a few small moose, and finally about the third day we bumped into a hog of a moose. Now this is exactly the kind of moose that you're looking for when you come up to the Yukon or up to Alaska. This is a moose that'll go 60 inches at least, 60 inches wide in the antlers, and he's filled right in, right down to the front palms. We call them the brow palms. There's a saying we have, he's got all the rigging, which means he's got everything you need. Lots of points, wide pans, long pans, and he's got the width. You can see how wide the one pan is. It's filled right into the end of the points. That's at least an 18-inch wide pan. Now Jim and I snuck within, about 80 yards, and I figured, heck, I've done my job as a guide. Now, the deal on this particular hunt is once Jim gets his bull, I get to go hunting with my night muzzleloader. So I get him within 80 yards, and I figured, heck, that's close enough. I've done my job as a guide. Now shoot that bull moose. Jim, he's really ethical, wouldn't take the shot. The moose was wide open a couple of times, and even 65, 70 yards, but he would not take the shot, which is good for him, bad for me, because remember, I don't get to go hunting until he gets his moose. I kept whispering in his ear. I was like a little devil on his shoulder. You know, Chuck Adams could make that shot. How come you can't? And then Jim would turn around and say, shh, I'm not going to shoot. It's not a good shot. And he let that bull go. So we kept hunting. Now, it was about the fourth day, we bumped into another great big bull. We were cruising up the river. The bull came out of the bushes on the one side and hit the water, swam across actually. It was only about 80 yards by the time I got the boat pulled into shore, and Jim got all his gear organized, his little trigger thingy, and got set up to go after this bull. It was a good bull, not as big as the first one. It was probably 55, 57 inches wide, but still a fantastic bull with bow and arrow. You can see Jim, when I told him I was going to have him on video, I told him I'd probably make a little bit of fun of him. He said, yeah, go ahead, bring it on. So I want you to notice the bald spot on the top of his head. Jim is definitely going bald. And you can see too that he's a little bit noisy on his stalk. That bull put up with us for the first 20, 30 yards closing the distance, but after that, it had enough and it took off. Even though in that country where they never see human beings, there's a point where enough is enough and they're going to run away. Notice Jim's bald spot again? You can really see it good there. Now you can see Jim, he's about to make a major mistake when you're on a guided hunt. Listen carefully.
That's twice today.
That was close, eh?
We're just floating down the river. Engines were cut out, and we're just cruising, talking. And all of a sudden I look to my right, and there it is.
Hey, Jim, the guide always sees the bull first.
I seen it first.
Who looked to the right?
I did. And then I seen...
Cut. Oh, cut.
Engines were cut out, and we're just cruising, talking. Jim, look to my right, and there it is.
Once we got Jim straightened out about who actually sees the bull moose first every single time, we kept hunting. It was about 2 days later, I think, that we spotted a gigantic moose. We were floating downriver, and this bull had everything. It was my personal dream moose, nearly 70 inches wide, points everywhere, and he was angry. He was raking willows and stomping, and I took one look at him and realized, boy, that's pretty big for Jim to go after with his bow and arrow. So when the bull stopped, Jim's in front of me on the boat trying to hunch down and be quiet. I'm waving behind Jim, making as much action as I can. The bull spotted me and down he went downstream, running full blast. You could hear the ground shaking as he ran. Poor old Jim, he turns around and said, boy, something spooked that moose. What do you think? I said, I don't know, Jim, but I know one thing. There's no use hunting downstream anymore because once you spook those big bulls, they never come back to the same place again. So let's go hunting upstream from now on. And that's exactly what we did.
We just spotted a bull going upriver. He's just behind the pile here. We're gonna go after him.
It sure didn't take us very long to find another big bull moose to go after. In fact, it was the next day. Now I'm all excited because remember, I know how big that big one is downstream that we scared away that will never come back to the same place. And I know that once Jim gets his bull, I get to go hunting. So trust me, Jim was excited. I was maybe just as excited. Now the bull we spotted was a great bull. I mean, make no mistake, it was over 60 inches wide, mid 60s, and was bedded in a perfect spot, out in the sunshine, catching a few rays.
Got a nice bull here, about 100 yards away. Jim says we're gonna wait for a couple of minutes here and see what the bull's gonna do.
The big question was, would it come into calling? Now we didn't realize it at the time, but he'd been in a fight. He was all bruised up. And once they've been beat up by another bull moose, they're not quite so inclined to come into a cow call or a bull grunt for sure. Fortunately for us, that bull moose had a great big libido. So as soon as he heard the calling, he started coming in. I mean, our answer was right away. Just walk, walk, walk. He started coming right towards us. Now with a rifle, this hunt was already over. I mean, we'd have had that great big bull down. And I'm panicking. I want this hunt to get over with. I want Jim to get his bull moose, his first bull moose with a bow and arrow. So like I say, I was pretty darn excited. That bull just came closer and closer. I mean, closed the distance, not in any kind of a rush. And your heart pounds. I mean, the moose hunting is about as exciting as it gets. Any big game animal in the world, moose put them toe to toe with anything. It was really exciting. And when the bull got within about 80 yards, I started chirping at Jim again. Take the shot, take the shot. I mean, that's an 18-inch diameter kill zone, and so it's a little far. Try the shot. I mean, I actually didn't really want him to take the shot, but I sure was working on him, trying to make him lose his composure, maybe laugh a little bit. Jim's an ethical hunter. There's no way he's going to take the shot. When that bull started displaying, I mean, it was so exciting. The thing was, though, I didn't know if we should move closer in or wait to see if he went behind that alder run. I wasn't sure if he'd go through it, come towards us, come right at us, or whether it would go through the alder run to the far side. And that happened to be the choice it made. Now I started getting really nervous. That bull's going to get away. So we gave a bull grunt, just a bruh. And you see the bull's demeanor change instantly. Before it was cow calls, he was looking for a little bit of love. Now it's a bull grunt. And he knows what that means. It means there's another bull that's going to be in for a fight. So he started displaying. I mean, his neck was puffed right out. He's in full rut.
It's 3D, Jim, 3D.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Overhead.
It's 3D, Jim, that's all it is. Move closer. Jim. He's making a pistol. He's making a pistol. He'll turn broadside, so be ready.
Good angle here.
Yeah. No, it's too much of an angle. Right there. Take your time.
Okay, here goes.
Wait till he's right. There you go. Wait till he's up. His weight's on this leg. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Right in the heart, Jim. You got him right in the heart.
All right.
Oh, your heart shot him.
I don't believe it. Jimbo!
You heart shot him.
35 meters. I got to give credit to this Hoyt bow.
Jimbo, heart shot. What do you think of that? 35 meters.
You know,
Hey,
and Razor said you could walk to him, and I almost, I didn't believe I could actually walk straight at him like that.
you heart shot him just perfectly.
What a,
Oh, Jimbo,
oh my God.
look at this bull moose.
I don't believe,
Oh,
look at the, oh my God.
oh, you heart shot him. Look at this. Oh,
How do we lift it?
I don't know. Oh, he's big. Holy smokes. He's got to be 60 inches, eh?
Well, that bow is 35 inches.
Yeah.
Over 35 inches.
Yeah, so he's 60 inches wide. Boy, I'm convinced about the bow now. I just may have
But
to,
it's patience, Jim. It's
I don't like
patience.
patience.
I know.
How does that one cartoon go with the two buzzards? Patience, my tail.
No, it's, yeah, that's it.
What a hunt. Here up on the Yukon in my territory, guiding Jim Bissenden to a fantastic archery bull moose. 35 yards, it doesn't get more exciting than that after an incredible week of hunting with Jim. I mean, we had just so close on so many bulls.
Yes.
Uh,
The last night,
somewhere-
20 meters.
Some were bigger, eh?
Yeah.
Some were a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But I mean, you take the shot when you get it, and this is the perfect. He didn't go anywhere. What a shot. What a hunt. If you think Jim wasn't excited, you would be wrong. If you think that I wasn't just as excited, you'd also be wrong. Because remember, he's done now, and I get to go after that great big moose that will never come back to the same spot downstream. It's nice to be able to finish a hunt in a day and come back to a vehicle, but it's not always like that. In a lot of places I hunt, some places are so incredibly remote, you can't get a vehicle within 500 miles. One of those areas is up in the Yukon in one of my guiding areas near the Rogue River. That's where you're headed on a boat hunt for a giant Alaskan Yukon moose. Come September, there's no place I'd rather be than up in the Yukon hunting for the gigantic Alaskan Yukon moose that live there. My outfitting territory in the Yukon is about 20,000 square miles of the most pristine wilderness left in North America. And you know when you're hunting there that nothing has changed in hundreds of years. When that airplane takes off and leaves you, it's an eerie feeling. You know you're a long way from civilization. You're not going to walk out to the nearest road, that's for sure, at least not in this lifetime. I'm going to take you on a tour of a typical moose camp up here in the Yukon. First of all, that's our boat. That's where we park it, our jet boat. The creek you hear in the background here, I'll show you. This creek right over here, that's where we get all our water, because you can drink water up here right out of the streams. Come with me this way. Come with me this way. Come on. Come on, cameraman. This is our castle. Look at that. 2 fireplaces in this one. One's working. This way.
Who's doing on my claim? What are you doing on my claim?
Come on, cameraman. Come on.
Hey,
Come on.
welcome. Come in.
This is Razor the guide. He built this camp. He's
Hi, everybody.
construction is his forte.
Come in. You
Go on.
want a coffee?
Yeah, you got coffee? I'll give
Yeah. Hey, there you go. I thought I'd give you mine.
you. Oh yeah, good. Here, I'll show you something. Look at this. This is a bush chair. Yeah, this is very nice, eh? And this is called a hippie killer because if you smoke dope and let it get too hot, you burn your tent down with you in it often.
That's right. No
Come on.
knife.
Come on. Oh, I'll show you. Here's a guide's gun. Come on right in, cameraman. You gotta come right in. Follow me right along. There's a guide's gun. Yeah, nice.
There used to be the
Custom?
mad flappers like solid five.
Yeah. Hey, look at this.
He's dead now.
Reading material. Look at Craig Boddington with his Desert Ram and Muzzle Blast magazine. Excellent. Cake.
No more.
Yeah, the cake's gone somewhere. Where's the cake?
Bear run.
Bear took it. Yeah. Come on right in. Come on right in. This is our lodging. This would be my bed over here. This is a gratuitous sponsors plug. Northern Outfitters. Oh, Wind River binoculars. Hey, Nosler hat. Excellent. Hey, wait a minute. Hoyt bows, Wind River, Crooked Horn. This coincidence? I think not.
This is a lamp.
And down here, you see the beds? These are actually made by Razor.
Razor's bed.
Razor's bed. Those are beautiful. We're going to try taking this boat, this jet boat, up the river. Then we're going to float back down, pull in on little gravel bars.
Yeah.
And you're
gonna
going to call like, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Now the fact is, I'd already been guiding in that area for a few days. I guided Jim Bissenden, he's another one of my cameramen, he's my right-hand guy, to a fantastic archery bull moose. He got this bull at 29, 30 yards, I think it was, with his Hoyt bow. Fantastic footage, 62-inch moose, he was thrilled. And we saw a pile of big moose on Jim's hunt. But I couldn't go hunting myself until he had his moose. Then I could go hunting.
Right in the heart, Jim. You got him right in the heart. Get another one into him. Get another one. Get another one. Jim. That's it. Got him right in the heart. Get another one into him. Jim, get closer to him, not further away. He's going to tip, Jim. He's going to tip. Jim, don't waste it. Don't waste it. He's tipping over.
All right.
Oh! That hunt with Jim Bissenden appeared on my Adventure 6 videotape. And you'll remember there was a to be continued at the bottom. Well, this is the continuation of that hunt. We actually only hunted for the first 2 days before we bumped into a moose that was obviously bigger than the existing muzzleloader world's record. We estimated that it had antlers over 70 inches wide. That's over 6 feet. And then it would score way up in the Boone and Crockett record book. As we floated downstream right beside that huge bull, I had a tough choice to make. I had my night muzzleloader right there beside me. I could have picked it up and shot him. I mean, he was less than 80 yards away. And he certainly gave me lots of opportunity to take that shot. But somehow it didn't seem right. I mean, it was legal, but it still seemed a little unethical. I'd come all the way up to the Yukon to hunt this big bull on shore, calling him in, bringing him in close. I didn't want to snipe him from a boat, so I let him run away. I have to admit, even though I let him run off, I still kind of figured in the back of my mind that we might see that big bull again. He was obviously in full rut. I mean, he was raking willows as he was going downstream right beside us. And bulls are very territorial at that time of year, so I felt if we stayed on him, kept hunting him hard, and worked that area, we just could see him again. Plus, I brought out my secret weapon, my Renzo's decoy. These decoys made by Renzo's decoy company work like a hot darn. When the bull moose see them, they come right in. Sometimes they come in too close.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's just way cool. The decoy works magnificently. I mean, this bull's coming wide open. I'm wide open. This is, moose hunting doesn't get any better than this. Oh. That's a nice bull, but he's not big enough. Come on, big guy. Come on. You know what? This makes for great footage for television, but I'm going to turn my moose decoy into a grizzly bear decoy here in about 1 second. He's plenty close enough to me. This is a grizzly bear now. That is beautiful. This is what moose hunting in the Yukon and my territory is all about. I mean, these moose have never seen humans before. And they've never seen such pretty girls either. The girls up here aren't so pretty. Where you want to start being careful is when you start displaying, when he starts turning his head like that. Because they'll come in and then they come in sideways and they just wham you one. I think we probably played with him just enough. No more decoy now, it's just me and you, big guy. Yeah, I was joking. That sound means it's time to exit stage left. If you spend any time up in the North Country, it won't be long before you start hearing moose and rut stories. Stories about moose that get smoked by trains because they hear the train and think it's a cow moose, or bull moose that come after loggers because they hear the chainsaw and think that's a cow moose. Well, here's a new one. Here's a bull moose that thinks a 16-foot aluminum jet boat is a beautiful cow moose. I believe it was the second or third day of my hunt. The weather turned kind of ugly, so we went upstream to pick up Jim Bissenden's antlers for his moose. Now that's the hunt you saw earlier this year. We were cruising back downriver with those antlers in the bow of the boat when this little moose came straight out at us. Thing was, he wasn't the only dummy in the crowd. Look what came out right behind him, another great big bull moose. There you can see Jim's antlers in the bow of the boat. I wheeled the boat around, held it steady in the current, and enjoyed the show. And tell you what, you want to see some confused looking bulls, it was these two. I mean, they thought we sounded pretty, but when they actually got a close look at us, we were pretty darn ugly for a cow moose. Hey, this is moose hunting. These things are wild right now. Holy moly, look at that bull. The smaller bulls tend to be the most aggressive during the rut, but smaller is a relative term. This one still outweighs me by 1,000 pounds. And you can see I'm putting a cap on my night muzzleloader just in case. Now, if I was looking for a meat bull, this bull is perfect. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that big one, the one we saw earlier, the one that we thought would break the existing muzzleloader world's record. The downside of being selective, of looking for a particular animal like we were doing, is that at some point in the hunt you may have to make a hard choice. Do you take a good animal and go home with a bull, or do you turn that good animal down waiting for the great animal, but take a chance of going home without a bull? My hard choice came about day 4. We were sitting in camp around the campfire about to have breakfast when it happened. As soon as I saw the bull, I knew he was one I should consider taking. But I also knew he wasn't the bull I was after. So I made my hard choice. I let this one walk away. Wow. Oh. What a way to wake up this morning. I haven't even had my coffee yet. Bull comes right into camp. Unbelievable. They say that good luck is where patience and hard work meet. Well, for us, they met as we rounded a bend within a few hundred yards of where we'd seen that monster bull a few days before. He's going. Come on. This is the most unbelievable moose hunt I've ever had in my life. I've been hunting for a moose this big for about 3 years. Finally found him in my own territory. We had how many bull moose? Tens and tens. I mean, bulls called in and said, no, called in, no, right in camp they come in. Yeah. Then we'd go down the boat right there. Camp. And then you promised though, but you promised the big one you'd call right into 10 feet.
Yeah, well that was close.
That was a long shot, I thought. He was only about 100 yards. This bull is, I mean, the score doesn't matter, but if he's not world's record for muzzleloader, I'd be really surprised. Yeah. He's probably 70 inches wide. I mean, pans are all bent and folded in with big brow palms. He's a monstrous bull. We were ecstatic. We figured we'd taken the big bull we'd been hunting. But when we looked at the video footage later on, we discovered that no, the other bull was much larger and it's still running around up in my territory. This one tied the existing muzzleloader world's record right to the 1/8 of an inch and scored well into the Boone and Crockett record book. I'm headed out to my whitetail stand to go sit for the evening. You know, whitetails are the most popular big game animal in North American hunt, but they're not my personal favorite big game animal to hunt. That's the moose. One of the reasons I like hunting moose more than white-tailed deer is because of where the moose lives. You can't just walk out your back door and hunt them like you can white-tailed deer. You actually have to get into some of the most remote areas of North America, areas that require float plane rides just to get to the lakes where these big moose live. Now the hunt you're about to watch took place in the Yukon. I landed in a remote lake. I'm talking hundreds of miles from the nearest road. And there I met my guide, Mike Olshak, and his dog Ben. Ben was a pack dog. It was quite an experience because we just got out of the airplane and Mike runs up to the cabin, gets on the roof and says, "Quick, watch this," and he starts calling. And out walks a huge, gigantic moose. Now, to me, it's huge. Mike says, no, it's not quite big enough. It's the first day of the hunt. We can do better than this. It's only about a 55-inch moose. But it was really an interesting experience to see that big bull and to call him from the top of the cabin. So we let that bull go and decided to go caribou hunting. You can hunt caribou, grizzly bears, doll sheep, and black bear wolves all at the same time up in the Yukon. We decided to go on a backpack trip into the high country to see if we could find some big mountain caribou. We did pretty good up there hunting caribou. We saw quite a few. I think we hunted about 4 days. And on the evening of the 4th day, we got pounded by a snowstorm. Now there's nothing like waking up to a foot of snow and knowing you're not going to be crawling around up in the mountains anymore looking for caribou. And it was also wonderful when we woke up and found the rut had started for the bull moose, and it was time for us to get back down to the lake, back into the low country to go after those big bulls. As it turned out, we made the perfect choice.
We got a moose down here, about 55 to 60 inches, nice big paddles, nice brow tines, and we're going to try and go get him right now. We just got about an hour's worth of light left to go get him, but he's not very far, so we're going to give it our best shot.
We just got back from the cabin from the hike, and 5 days up there. Now we spotted a big giant moose. We gotta go and we gotta get there fast. That's not our bull. Our bull's on the other side of the cow and that little bull.
Okay, Jim, we're gonna try and call this other bull in. These ones here are both little ones. They're not what we want. There's a big bull back in the trees. We're gonna have to call it out.
You can hear him grunting.
Yeah,
That's him grunting.
That's right. We'll have to let him come out. But that's the one we want. might charge us at any minute.
Just keep hitting one. As soon as he turns.
Congratulations.
Wide.
We just shot that at 20 feet.
My God.
I was afraid it was going to come and get us. Like, seriously.
I couldn't shoot. I couldn't shoot. I got his shoulder. I had to wait till he turned a little bit.
Good. That's what it takes on to make something.
I'm gonna throw up right now. That was frightening.
It was. I got no gun either.
I know, we had one shot. I couldn't shoot through the shoulder.
No, I don't understand that.
Couldn't shoot through the shoulder.
I understand you're not shooting a high-powered rifle.
That's about as exciting as it gets. Unbelievable.
Okay, I'm just going to stop shaking in my boots here for a minute. We just got that bull at 20 yards with a muzzle loader, and he just went down 30 or 40 yards from there. You had the patience to do it just perfect, Jim. You waited for the perfect shot.
Were you scared?
You know your gun. I was worried that he might actually come and stamp us into the ground.
You couldn't, guys.
But-
you gotta show a little excitement
But
for
you
God's sakes.
were in front of me, so I was going to get out of there before you.
Well, let's go see what he is. I'm scared. My heart's pounding. Ah. Look at the size of this thing. Alaskan Yukon moose. And the bonnet plume outfitted, Richard Rogers. Unbelievable. Right from the cabin, 500 yards from our cabin. Look at this thing. Oh, he's down, he's down. Oh my goodness.
He's big, isn't he?
He's really big.
Yeah, he's bigger than we thought.
Oh my goodness, he's like 60 inches easy. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 on each side. Oh. I mean, we're not even... Oh. I still can't believe that hunt. Mike was spectacular on the calling. I mean, the Nosler bullets worked beautifully, thank goodness. Thank you, Bob Nosler.
Thanks,
Oh.
Bob.
Man, yeah, both Mike and I thank you. If it wouldn't have worked, we'd have been eating this moose.
He'd have been eating us.
Yeah, we'd be compost, moose compost up here in the Yukon.
He could easily have rubbed us into the dirt there.
And this is spectacular. Spectacular. I've hunted moose up in the Yukon many times. One of my favorite hunts was with Dave Coleman, McMillan River Outfitters. It was an early season hunt, an August hunt. The moose were still in velvet. Some hunters prefer to fly up to the Yukon. I prefer to drive. Maybe it's because in the pre-94 Mighty Dodge, it only takes me 2 hours to make the 3,000-mile trip up to Whitehorse, the jumping off point for most Alaskan Yukon moose hunts in the Yukon. I always have loved moose hunting, but I was really excited about this particular hunt, mostly because it was taking place right on the border of the area that I just purchased up in the Yukon, the hunting territory I just purchased. I wanted to make sure that that area held the biggest moose in the world, and after I met Tyler and the wrangler, Doug, and they confirmed that there was big moose in the area, I knew we were in for a great hunt. landed in the Tay River. This is McMillan River Outfitters special moose camp. And we're gonna head out to another camp for another day horse drive, and then another 6 hours up to where we're gonna spike camp. And my guides, Doug and Tyler, have just come in from another camp. They've actually packed in here today, so I got to fly into this camp. The weather's beautiful. We're supposed to have another week of gorgeous weather, and we're gonna look to bust the world's record muzzleloader Alaskan Yukon moose. I think we'll do it. If it's half as big as my horse, my God, we're gonna get the world's record for sure. It wasn't an unrealistic expectation to look for a world's record muzzleloader Alaskan Yukon moose either. At that time of year, early August, you can take horses into the backcountry, up into the high hanging basins, where you hope to find the moose still patternable and living where they did all summer. There is other ways you can hunt moose, and later in the year too. You can hunt them in September during the rut, and you can use boats to cruise the edges of rivers or lakesides and hope to bring the bulls out by calling. At that time of year though, we were definitely horseback, heading into a remote cabin, from there spiking out, staying in tents, hoping to find those big moose that never see humans. Part of the reason the Yukon is such a great area to hunt moose is because there's only 30,000 people live there, and most of those live in Whitehorse, the capital city at the southern end. The rest of that area never sees humans, so if there's a fire starts, a burn in the forest, they just let it burn. Well, what happens is you get hundreds and hundreds of square miles of great moose habitat. We just topped the very first ridge of where we were going, our spike camp, and there's 4, 5, 6 bulls, 3 cows. We haven't even started looking yet. This is unbelievable. At least one of them is over 200 plus bull. But we're looking for 230, 240, 250. But we'll settle for 225, the world's record for the muzzleloader. This is an amazing place. Oh, there's another one coming up. One thing, if you're going to be a guide, you got to know the answers to everything. You never want to look like you don't know the answer, even if you don't know it. So, Tyler, what's the name of the place we're headed to today? That little river?
I don't know the English name, Jim, for that, but I know the First Nations name. It's something like Gamoynakoite.
Yeah, that's
Something along
is
there.
that right?
It's a good spot. Shangri-La.
The guide always gets the best side of the fire. I think I'm melting. Tyler, what mountain are we going to be hunting on anyway today?
I don't know the real name. I just know the native name, and it's Lope. That's the only name I know.
What was that name again? Tyler was being a little mystic and obtuse when he was referring to the specific moose hotspots we were hunting, for good reason. The big bulls live there. As we hunted, we'd bump into these sheds dropped by moose that were larger than the world's record rifle moose, let alone the world's record muzzleloader moose. I was pretty happy that I'd purchased the area bordering on that country. Eventually though, after several days of hunting, there was no denying it. What was there was there. At that time of year, you're not going to get a big new bull coming into the area because of the rut. They're living there. And we finally actually convinced ourselves that one of the bulls we've been seeing was big enough to go after. We spotted our bulls. Grandpa, we call him. We've seen him 4 days in a row.
I think he's the world's record. We think he's the world's record. And now we made a long walk. We're going to try and get in front of him. And I'm going to load up here. Hope it doesn't rain on us between now and then. I'm nervous. I shouldn't be nervous. It's only a 63-inch bull.
Look at this magnificent bull up here in McMillan River with McMillan River Outfitters, Dave Coleman's operation. My guide Tyler Sherry put us on this bull 4 days in a row. We call him Grandpa. He's got a great big drop tine down the bottom and a huge wide pan on the far side. His left side is magnificent. I mean, just huge. It would have been world's record if he'd have matched both sides like that. And it still might be. The record book guys, they can measure him up and find out. What a magnificent, magnificent animal. Man, I love moose hunting. Love moose hunting. 4 days in a row. Thank you, Tyler. What a guide.
This is a cow muskox. I'm looking for a big bull muskox out here in Nunavut territories in Canada. So while I'm looking for a bull muskox, you're going to watch a hunt for a giant bull moose in the Yukon territories of Canada with McMillan River Outfitters. One of my favorite places to hunt up in the Yukon for big moose is in the McMillan River country. That whole area belongs to an outfitter, or at least the guiding rights belong to an outfitter by the name of Dave Coleman. Just getting there is an adventure. It's a float plane ride over the mountainous Yukon country. When you're flying over it, sometimes you see moose, but it's just a spectacular flight to come in. Just the landing is an adventure as well. It's not landing in a big wide open lake, but this tiny little river, you get a little bit tightened up when you're coming in like that. We met our guide Luke Vervick for the hunt. And he started telling us about the big moose, the sign he's been seeing. He'd been in there a few days before us. We couldn't wait to get out, but you have to wait till the next day before you can actually go hunting when you fly in. The way we were going to be hunting these moose would be floating down the river, then coming back up, floating back down again, calling from sandbars, trying to bring them in. The rut was just starting.
Just really deep, really deep. Yeah. Okay. He's coming. He sounds waiting. He's coming.
sounds deeper than you
Yeah.
go, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what do you do?
Let's go down. Let's go downwind. Right down. That might open up into the little creek bed there. Let's just walk downwind. Let's just go stick tight to this side. So
And there's no way you know what size, eh? Just call him in and then see what he is.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you can hear him.
Yeah. Right. He's coming in quick.
That's too cool. Oh, that is so cool. He sounds way bigger than you. Oh, there he comes, there he is. What do you mean he's little? What size do you think is little? 2,000 pounds? Or 1,800 pounds? Mad, eh? How big is he? Like 50 or something?
Yeah, he's just 50.
Just 50. Go on in. Oh, there he goes. Oh, that is so cool.
You know, of all the things I could have chosen to be in my life, why did I choose to be a hunter? If I could describe what this feels like on my feet, oh, that's cold and it hurts. Oh man, alive.
Gotta get our wind in. Yeah. We can't do anything, man. We're out. Look at that.
We did call in bulls. Right off the bat, we started calling in bulls. Nothing big though. And I had a tag. Cody Robbins, my cameraman, had a tag for a moose. He also had a grizzly bear tag. I couldn't hunt them. I'd taken a grizzly bear a couple years before in the Yukon. You have to wait 3 years. We called in a few of the small moose. Then one day we saw a grizzly bear on the shore and went after it. I became the cameraman. Cody became the hunter. And I'll tell you what, sneaking up on a grizzly bear like Cody did is about as exciting as it gets, especially when all you're armed with is a muzzleloader.
Don't shoot him. Cody, don't shoot him unless he comes at us. If he comes at us, shoot. But if don't shoot him otherwise.
Was a pig of a bear. All I've ever seen or had close to me are black bears before, but grizzly, his head is wide, twice the size of a black bear. That was cool. I must have been 10 yards. What do you think?
Yeah, but maximum 10 yards.
That was cool. I looked at him through my scope and he was just staring at me. That was
That's
amazing.
perfect. Wind right in our faces, and
Yeah,
that was neat.
that was cool.
It's not often you get to that close to a grizzly bear, that's for sure.
Yeah.
After we went after that grizzly bear and Cody turned him down, we started to bump into some bigger moose. The first one swam the river, and as we came by, he got out on the shore and shook and looked right down on us. I could have taken him. Legally, you can shoot from the boat as long as the engine's up, or we could have pulled into shore and gone after him, but I just didn't feel right to shoot a moose like that, and I didn't want to get my moose like that. It wouldn't have been great video footage. So we kept hunting. We bumped into another moose a couple evenings later, and this one was also big, bigger even than the one before, and it had a huge big 4x4 non-typical chunk coming off its palm. It was a moose that I could really get excited about, especially when he started coming down towards the water looking like he was going to come swimming with us. He was going, whoa, whoa, right towards us. I thought, you know what, if this was earlier in the evening, I would have taken him, gone on the shore, just called him in, he'd have come in, but I wanted it during the day, better footage, better lighting, and so we started hunting for him. Unfortunately, we never found him again. We did, however, find a spot where a bunch of cows every day would come out into this old bent swamp part of the river. And we figured, well, if there's cows there's got to be a bull. It's during the rut. So we went in and started calling. Now, I'll tell you honestly, there is nothing like a big bull moose responding to a call. When you call and all of a sudden you hear moo, moo, coming back at you, and you know that this big bull's coming, 1,500 pounds of really upset moose coming towards you, and you're sitting there with a muzzleloader. There's nothing more exciting than that.
Listen, that's not the small one. There he comes. He's turning his head. There he comes. How big is it? I need Cody up here. Oh, look at it. Cody, you gotta get those mics off your ears. We gotta switch position. Cody's gotta come forward a little bit somehow. Cody, just come forward somehow. Cody, you gotta come on my left side, Cody. Cody, get up here. Cody, get on my left side, Cody. Get up. Don't worry about the mic. It's not near as important. If he steps, you can take him. But not yet. Okay, anytime. Not in the water. Code? What'd you do?
Did I hit him?
What do you mean, did you hit him? How could you miss him?
Man, oh man. What a brute. got my first bull moose. Oh, Jimbo. Oh.
Is that exciting? Or
How's it going, buddy? Oh. It's coming through those trees like a dinosaur. Holy moly.
Nice down, Code.
I might need mouth to mouth here in a minute.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, that's sick.
Oh, I'm shaking like a leaf.
Hey, Code.
Jimbo.
How's that for your first moose?
Oh.
With a muzzleloader.
I've never had anything that exciting in my life.
Look
I don't even know what to say.
Look at the pans on him, Code. Oh, that's like he's all got the bent pans. Whoa, he's at least 45 long too, Code. He's 215 easy. Code, you'd be top 3 muzzleloader record book.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious. Oh, if I wasn't looking for number 1, man, you wouldn't have had this chance. He's probably 55 wide, for sure 55 wide. He could be 220. No guff. He's
really?
not. Yeah, because he's 50. He's wider than I thought.
What's your biggest with a muzzleloader?
222.
Ooh, it might be 223.
Max 221.
I don't know. There's an extra 3 inches we didn't see over there.
Yeah, look, he's got 18-inch pants because they got this big bend in them, eh?
Is that, you don't see that very often, do you?
No, that's what I say. That's my dream bull is like that with that big bend. I just want another 10 inches wide.
This is amazing.
Wow.
I don't think it gets any better.
Filled right in on the pans on both sides. Filled right in. That's like the Alaskan Yukon, classic Alaskan Yukon. What do you think of that, eh? Did you see?
Thanks, Jimbo.
Take it back to civilization.
Jim Shockey presents more action-packed, high-adventure hunting videos. Jim Shockey's Hunting Adventures video series, featuring African safaris, cave bears on the Pacific Rim, and the Canadian Whitetail Adventure videos, highlighting successful hunts from all over the world. Award-winning video footage will keep you at the edge of your seat. Monster whitetail bucks, close up and personal. Spot and stalk giant Vancouver Island black bear, plus dangerous game muzzleloader hunts for Cape buffalo, moose, water buffalo, and polar bear at 15 feet. Plus Jim's own world record hunts for Roosevelt elk, bison, plains game, and much more. Jim Shockey's hunting videos. Order all and save.
That was frightening.
It was. I got no gun either.
I know, we had one shot. This is the 5-star hunt.
Just glass right from the tent.
Hey, whenever you heat your own tent, it's a 5-star hunt.
Yeah, but it's colder that way.
Drier though.
Is it?
Condensation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but depends.
Believe that, I got more to tell you.
Yeah, I suppose. I just thought you guys were ostracizing me and keep me over here by my known self.
Yeah, you snore,
So what? So how come I'm set up over here 20 yards from your tent with all the food in my tent? How come? And grizzly bears all over this place. How come?
Is that muzzle loader?
Oh yeah, okay. That's yeah. I got the grizzly bear gun. Anyway, coffee's great, but I'm starting to run out. Garçon, garçon.
Toss it over.
No, I still got some.
Speechless?
It doesn't get any better. I mean, look at this. Caribou backstraps, fresh. Most gorgeous place on the planet. Nobody within 1,000 miles. And we got a sheep tag in our pocket. I mean, what gets better? This is fabulous.